Algebra 1 Study Guide number 9, page 1. You've got an equation we need to solve. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of our parentheses, and then we'll get our variables on both sides. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. I've got negative 3x minus 10. I'm going to bring my negative 5x over, and then I'm going to distribute this negative 3 to both of these. So I'll have negative 15, and then a negative 3 times a negative 1x is a positive 3x. Now, I always suggest that you clean up your like terms on the same side. So I have negative 3x minus 10. I can put my negative 5x plus my 3x together, and negative and positive in this case is going to give me a negative 2x minus 15. Now, I need to solve for x. I need to move one of them. I'm going to move the minus 2x. So I get negative 1x, or negative x, minus 10 equals negative 15. Let's get rid of the 10. We get negative 1x equals negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5. Divide by our negative 1, and we'll get x is equal to positive 5. Number 2, solve each inequality and graph its solution. Okay, we got a parenthesis, so we need to distribute. I'm going to leave it negative 18 is less than 9 times negative 10 is negative 90. And then 9 times the 1r is 9r. Now we need to get a variable by itself, so let's add the 90. And we have 90 minus 18. Do a little borrowing. We've got 2 and 7, so we've got 72 is less than 9r. Divide by 9. Now dividing by a positive number does not affect the inequality, so we're going to leave it just like it is, and I'm going to come down just a little bit. So I'm going to say 8 is less than r. Now it's always easier to graph the inequality if your variable's on the left. So if 8 is smaller than r, if 8 is less than r, then r is greater than 8. It's just saying the same thing, going a different direction. So we need all the numbers that are bigger than 8. So I'm going to do I think I'll do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we want r is greater than 8, we're going to start at 8, but notice 8's not true. We only show the true, so 8 doesn't work. So we're going to put an open circle over that, and then the numbers greater than 8 are to the right. You've got 9 over 6 is equal to x plus 7 over 2. That's a simple proportion. We need to cross multiply. I'm going to actually come over here and do the cross multiplying. I think let me rewrite it so you can see it. Okay, we're going to multiply these two and these two. I like to do the x first. It doesn't matter which pair you do first. So I'm going to do 6 times the x plus 7. It's got to be multiplied, distributed to both of those, is 9 times 2. So we've got 6x plus 42 is equal to 18. Let's subtract the 42 from both sides. And we get 6x is equal to, if you take 18 from 42, you get 24, and that's going to be negative 24, because it's a negative 42. Divide by 6, and you'll get x is equal to negative 4. I'm going to scoot it up just a little bit so we have room for these. Okay, to find the slope of a line, the formula is subtract your y's on top and subtract the x's on the bottom. Okay, so here's our x and y and the other x and y. Doesn't matter which y you start with, but whichever one you start with, you want to start with that x on the bottom. So if I start with negative 1, I've got m is equal to negative 1 minus 3. Over, now I've got to start with this x, negative 10 minus negative 4. You have to really watch those signs. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4, and negative 10 minus negative 4 is negative 10 plus 4, so that will give us a negative 6. Negative over negative is a positive, and 4 over 6 divided by 2 over 2 is 2/3. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one. I'm going to start with the negative 15. Doesn't matter which one you start with. As long as you start with the same x and y. So I'm going to start with negative 15 minus my negative 3. Those are my y's. And then 17 minus my negative 11. So negative 15 minus negative 3 is negative 15 plus 3, which is negative 12. And 17 minus negative 11 is 17 plus 11, which is 28. We can divide by 4 over 4, and we get negative 3 over 7. Now, depending on which y you started with, you'll either get the negative on top or bottom, but either way the fraction is going to be negative. Whether it's negative 3/7 or 3 over negative 7, it's still the same fraction. It's a negative slope. Write the slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the given point and given slope. So we have the point slope formula, y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Now, this is my x sub 1 and y sub 1, and then this is my slope, m. So we just plug in. So we've got y minus negative 2. Now, y minus negative 2 is y plus 2, and then negative 1/5 times my x minus my 5. We need to distribute my negative 1/5, so we'll distribute it across, and I have y plus 2 is equal to negative 1/5 x. Now, negative times negative is positive, and if you multiply 1/5 times 5, your 5's cancel and leave you a 1. Now, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, so I just need my y by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 2, and I get y equals negative 1/5 x, and a positive 1 minus 2 is a negative 1.